name was Corey, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, this is a story in 3 parts. Now the first part, this tale of unrequited love, it takes place in 1984. I'm in love. Or I thought I was in love. But she says it's over. She leaves me in Vancouver, sleepless. A week later, I'm lovesick, I'm broke, but I decide to prove my devotion by following her all the way to Morocco. Eventually, I accept that perhaps when she said it was over, but now I've been dumped, I'm broke, I'm stranded in Europe. Well, I got my trumpet, and I hear that the busking's good in London, and if I can make £100, you can get a return flight on Virgin Airways from London to New York, and then I can hitchhike back to Vancouver. So I get to London, I see buskers in the subway tunnels, and I open my trumpet case and I play. And I play at Piccadilly Circus, Charing Cross, Green Park, and one day in the underground, I hear another trumpet way down a distant tunnel. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Hey man, I know that tune. So I toot back, da-di-da-di-da, 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 in the mood. So we team up. And Jules and I, we give him something to look at. Like 2 trumpets is loud, and he plays a pocket trumpet, and one Friday night, he shows up at the subways with an ape costume in one hand and a clown costume in the other. So I pick the clown costume and we get right onto the subways. None of this waiting around the tunnels. And as the middle doors close, the ape and the clown raise their trumpets. All right, this is going to be loud. Da-da-da-da-da-da. We play till the next station. Doors open, tune stops. Doors close. Our second tune starts. While the ape plays a solo, the clown walks down the aisle to the end of the car, shaking a bag of coins at stunned but happy weekend revelers. When the clown gets back to the middle, he hands the bag to the ape, and the ape picks up the song, while the other guy goes down to the other end and comes back to the middle, and the door's open. Thank you. On to another train. 2 weekends later, I've made my plane fare, and we spend the last night in town at Ronnie Scott's Jazz Club in Soho. And from New York, I hitchhiked back to Vancouver. Meanwhile, back in London, Jules gets arrested. Now, young man, precisely what do you think you're doing playing at this trumpet in this ape costume on the trains? Doogie Woogie Boogie Boy accompanied me? Don't get smart with me now. You know as well as all the buskers in London, there are specific pitches where busking is tolerated. And please, no costumes. Excuse me, but it's my song. I'm playing it, and I'll play it how I like it. Okay. Now, the second tale of unrequited love takes place in 1989, 5 years later. And I'm in love again. Or I think we're in love, but she says it's over. She leaves me in Vancouver, sleepless. A week later, lovesick, I'm broke. But I decide to prove my devotion by following her all the way to England. When I get to Guernsey in the Channel Islands, it takes a while, but finally I accept her, perhaps when she said it was over. It was over. Anyway, on my way back to Vancouver, I decide to look around the underground for Jules. Piccadilly Circus, Charing Cross. All weekend I look for him at all the usual pitches. No luck. My plane leaves tomorrow, heading back to my hotel just as I'm passing by our favorite pitch, Green Park, walking down the aisle towards me. Johnny! Jules! Haha! You know, I haven't played me on in a couple of years. I just got tired of old Bill owing me into the old Bailey and being ridiculed because I made my living playing a toy trumpet in an ape costume. That's bollocks. But for some reason, all weekend I've been missing it. So I just put my own in my pocket and came down to Green Park. We spend my last night in town at Ronnie Scott's Jazz Club in Soho. In the morning, I head back to Vancouver. Meanwhile, back in London, Ape gets arrested. Now, young man, you were apprehended in an ape costume, playing your trumpet on a train in the London Underground. Precisely what were you trying to accomplish? Chattanooga choo-choo? Don't get smart with me. You know as well as all the buskers in London, there are specific pitches where busking is tolerated. And please, no costume. Excuse me, but it's my song. I'm playing it and I'll play it how I like it. Now the fourth tale of unrequited love takes place in 2010. Rejected by another lover, but she didn't leave me, she kicked me out. Well, I know what to do. I go to London. It'll cheer me up to go busking around. Well, so I'm kicking around London again. I decide to look for Jules. Piccadilly, Charing Cross, Green Park, no Jules, but it's been 20 years. What are the odds? Maybe, just maybe, I looked through the tattered pages of my old address book from 20 years ago. Yes, I have his parents' phone number. Bring, bring, hello. You probably don't remember me, but I'm a friend of your son, Jules. So sorry, but we're not interested in anything to do with Jules at all, not anymore. Pardon me? Well, it's sad, but our son became an heroin addict, and as he got more and more desperate and crazy, he robbed us, he lied, we finally had to cut all ties with him. We haven't seen Jules since he went to jail 12 years ago. Sorry to hear that, but you should know that you must have done something right. I really enjoyed everything about your son and would still very much like to know what he's doing. If you could just do one thing for me, please. If you have any way of reaching him, could you please just pass my phone number on? 2 days later, I get a call from Jules. Yes, he had become a junkie. After I left England, he had to get a different costume. The ape was getting a little hot. He became Sylvester Cat, and he quit playing in the underground. He moved up to the streets, and making money was easy. People loved him. He had all sorts of newspaper clippings to show me, but no one realized that inside that cat costume was a very sad junkie and getting sicker and sicker. Finally, I wound up in prison, he said. Well, in prison, I fell in love with my counsellor. She got me back to school while I finished my sentence. I studied art history. When I got out, I got a job as a museum curator. Now we have 2 lovely daughters, aged 4 and 6. I'm a stay-at-home dad, and we're living on the Isle of Wight. And thank you very much for telling my dad, because they're coming down to visit next week, and they haven't met my 2 kids yet.